Adorama TV presents Digital Photography One-on-One, where we answer your questions. Here's your host, Mark Wallace.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Digital Photography One-on-One. I'm Mark Wallace. Well, this week we have a great question from Jenny Bickett-Fanter. Jenny asked, I am looking for a heavy-duty, stable mini tripod that will support my camera and that can be securely fastened to a variety of surfaces. Does such a thing exist? Well, Jenny, that's a great question, and absolutely I've got in my hand such a device. It's called a Manfrotto Magic Arm, and it has something called a super clamp, and this super clamp can be attached to almost anything. I'll be showing you how to use this and a couple of pocket wizards and a special cable that I'll show you in a second to get all kinds of interesting shots using something I like to call unusual point of view. Now, unusual point of view really means that you're taking your camera and you're mounting it somewhere where it has a point of view that's not normal. It's unusual. It's mounting something up high or down low or to the side or outside of a car or something like that. It's really, really neat. And so with the Magic Arm and with a couple of pocket wizards like these, and these will work with any camera, and a special cable. Now this cable is specific to a camera. We'll be talking about that a little bit more in a little bit. You can actually trigger your camera from a distance. So we've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. And let me talk to you about some of the equipment that we're going to be using today. This one we're going to start out with. This is called the super clamp without a stud. Now super clamps are used for all kinds of things. The nice thing is the super clamp can clamp on just about anything that's round or square, and it's really, really sturdy. There's this screw that clamps this down, and the thing with this guy is it's so strong that you can actually crush things like ladders and poles. So you have to be sort of careful that you don't over tighten this, but it's very, very secure. Now this guy, actually behind us, you can see that we have some seamless paper that's held up on some auto poles. Well, that seamless paper is also held up by these super clamps with some attachments on them. They also have attachments like this. This is it's called a U-hook. And so it goes right in here, and it's very secure, and so you can stick this on a pole and hold like background stands and all kinds of different things on this U-hook, and this screw right here will hold that secure. So super clamps are really good for mounting all kinds of different things. So what I've done is on this ladder, I've already mounted a super clamp to the ladder, the top rung of the ladder, and it's really nice and secure. Now to attach to that, I'm going to use something else. This is called the Magic Arm. It's made by Manfrotto. In fact, the super clamp and the Magic Arm are both made by Manfrotto. Now this Magic Arm, it's got this little lever right here, and when I undo it, now all this thing is totally loose, and I can move the ends, I can move these out, and then when I have it in position, well, I crank that, it locks into place, and it is really, really secure. So that's the Magic Arm. Now the nice thing is most of these Magic Arms come with something called a camera platform. It looks like this, and it's got a place where the Magic Arm can attach to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my camera, and I'm using this camera. This is a Canon 1DS Mark II with a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. It's an L lens. So this is a pretty darn heavy camera. It's about 6 pounds. So I'm using this on purpose to show you how secure this is. So we're going to use a really heavy camera. It's a little bit heavier than most cameras. And then I'm just mounting this to the bottom of my camera. Now this has this middle attachment right here that puts the screw in, and then I get to really tighten it up with this gray disc right here, and this gray disc actually has a notch in it, so if I want to put a screwdriver or something in there and really tighten it down, I can. I'm not going to do that because hand tightening is going to get that to be tight enough for me. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach it to my Magic Arm. So let's put this in here like that, screw this down, and so that is nice and secure. So now I have this attached to my Magic Arm. I'm going to take the other end of my Magic Arm and I'm going to attach it to my super clamp. So it goes right in there like that. I will adjust this so it's really nice and snug. So once I have that there, you can see I can put this at whatever location I want. And when I get it, click, it's mounted. Now the nice thing is, because this super clamp can mount to just about anything, you can mount this on ladders, you can mount it on poles, you can put it really high, you can put it really low, so you can get some really interesting perspective using these Magic Arms and super clamps. Now what I've done is I've set up a really cheesy flower arrangement that I grabbed here in the studio, and I'm going to be taking a picture of that flower arrangement. Now I could be 20 feet in the air. I'm going to climb up on my ladder here, and I want to have a vertical shot instead of a horizontal shot, so I'll loosen this And I'll take this around here and I'll get it all positioned exactly where I want it to go. So I've got that mounted up and I like that. So now once I have it, I've locked that down. Now that's nice and secure. So then I can just take a shot and I've got my flowers. They look great. Now this isn't as secure as a tripod, but normally when you have it mounted, you're not touching it too much. So you can put that on a ladder and it's going to hold really nice and secure, a lot more secure than being handheld. Now let's pretend this is 20 feet in the air. Well, I don't really want to climb up 20 feet and take a picture. I want to be able to trigger this remotely. And that's where these Pocket Wizards come in. So what I have is this is a Pocket Wizard Plus 2. And what I'm going to do with this guy, this is a transceiver, meaning that it can send and receive. So I'm going to turn it on, first of all, and then I'm going to mount that to my camera. I'm just putting it in my camera's hot shoe. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this cable right here. Now this cable is made by Pocket Wizard and it's called a pre-trigger cable. Now it's called a pre-trigger cable because of this switch right here. Now this switch allows me to turn this on or off, and when I turn it on, what it's doing is it's emulating me pushing my shutter release halfway, which is important if you want to be focusing remotely. So what I've done on my camera is I've set my camera to continuous focus or AI servo mode, so it's always focusing as long as I'm pushing my shutter release halfway down. And with the switch emulating that, as soon as I attach this, it automatically makes my camera always focus. So I'm just going to attach this to my camera, and this goes where the shutter release cable would normally go. So I'm putting that there, and I'm attaching the other end to my Pocket Wizard. Now when I hit the test button on my Pocket Wizard, you'll see that my camera is actually triggering. So that means I can take a different Pocket Wizard. So I've got this guy here. This is another plus 2 Pocket Wizard. When I trigger that, my camera is triggering. And because it's focusing all the time, I'm always going to get something that's nice and crisp and in focus. Now this is really cool because now I can mount this, let's say, to the back of a basketball hoop or down low when there's a high jumper, or to the side or outside a car or something. I don't have to physically touch the camera to fire it. I can just shoot with my Pocket Wizard and it will fire. Now here's another trick that we really like. So I'm going to take another camera. This is a Canon 7D, and I'm going to attach this Pocket Wizard to this camera and turn the camera on. And now when I take a picture with this camera, that camera fires as well. So I'm taking the exact same shot from 2 totally different locations, and so I can get multiple points of view with 2 different cameras and control everything by myself. So now I'm going to take a shot of my camera and my flowers, and I'll do that, boom. And it will show you that I have a picture of the flowers from this camera and a picture of the flowers from that camera at the exact same time. Now the neat thing is, since these are Pocket Wizards, you could put 1 camera as a receiver, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 20, or 100, or 500. You can have a bunch of different cameras at a bunch of different locations, and you can trigger all of them from one location. It's very, very nice, and you can do all kinds of interesting things, and you can get really interesting points of view. So there you have it. It's a couple Pocket Wizard Plus 2s. You can use a pre-trigger cable and then multiple cameras. Now the pre-trigger cable, just so you know, is specific to your camera. And so if you have a Nikon, you need one that's specific to a Nikon. If you have a D3X or a D90, you need to make sure you get the right one. You can go to the Adorama website to look and see which cable is the correct pre-trigger cable for your camera, because they're brand and camera specific. And then the Pocket Wizards, you can use a Pocket Wizard Plus 2. You can use the Pocket Wizard Mini and Flex system. You can use the Multi-Max system as well. So you don't have to just use the Plus 2s. There's a lot of options for you. So if you own something that's not a Plus 2, you probably still are going to be just fine. Well, that was a lot of fun. Jenny, thank you so much for that question. Well, if you have a question about photography or photography-related gear, remember, you can send those to me at AskMark@Adorama.com, and we just might use it in an upcoming episode. Well, thanks for joining me this week. I'll catch you next week.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama TV. Visit the Adorama Learning Center, where you'll find photography tips and techniques, links to the gear used in this episode, and related videos. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. And the next time you're in New York City, visit our store, located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.